Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Also, below this video, you can get £50 for swapping your UK electricity supplier to Octopus Energy. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. Now, we are joined by 10th Man, Neil, father of a stolen child, also known as Refracted Curvature, Brian's Logic, and a whole bunch of people in Discord. So welcome, one and all.
Good morning, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, hey.
Before the live show got started, people were asking how you got on over the weekend, Brian. So I assume you debated Wolfie?
He said while you were gone that he'll join us later in the show. He's driving the car right now.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll ask him about it later.
But he didn't debate Wolfie. He said it's next week.
It's not happened yet. Oh, okay. Well, that answers that question then. Oh, well, we've got nothing to discuss in that regard then. Let's do a bit of housekeeping. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere-edge horizon, formerly known as Earth curvature?
I'll let John answer that.
Nuh-uh.
I think you'll need half of that, is what he was hoping you would say.
Hello.
Hey, Owen.
Good afternoon.
Bit quiet. Maybe we get a bit closer to your mic.
Good afternoon.
Hello. Nice to have you. If you can let me know in the live stream chat how the sound is, that'd be brilliant. I've been fiddling for the last day or so over the weekend, making a few tests, so if you could just say sounds good or sounds terrible, that'd be really handy. Thank you very much. So Earth curve, we'll try that again. Let's rewind time. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge horizon formerly known as Earth curve, John?
Negative.
I am not John.
You'd need
but
half for that,
R.
wouldn't you?
Ah, he was rumpused. Try again, Rams.
You'd need half of that, wouldn't you?
You would need R for that. That's correct. Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
You'd
Any
need
evidence
half
of
of that
axis?
too, wouldn't you?
Oh, just too many people, too many answers. It's all coming too quickly.
Wait, I think I may have a solution. Oh, oops.
A solution to what problem now? R?
Not to the. Nah, it's not really a solution. Continue on.
Oh, well, thank you. Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
I think you might need R for that.
Yeah, you would, yeah. Any...
Right, so
Go on, Owen.
I think I'm finding a pattern is being revealed. Please continue.
You got the R zombies. Excellent. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
I think you need R for that.
You do. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
R?
You are going to need R for that. Yes, that's correct. Correctamundo, mon brave.
Arvin, what makes you think there's a pattern here?
R. Oh my god, we have turned into the R zombies. We just keep saying R now.
Well, no, I'm going to break that pattern right now. Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
R!
When they start talking,
the R value.
they're gonna need R for that.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed the
Everything
beginning.
they
I
do
just
is
heard.
based on awe.
I need some concise answers. If you're going to have weasel words in there, I need to hear them all.
When they start talking to
Value is
explain
the
their
hypothesis.
observation.
Let's try it one more time. Hold on, Rams.
Yes, in this field, when they start talking to explain their observations, you're going to need R for that.
Okay, there's a good chance they'll need R for that. Fair enough. Rams, go ahead.
Yeah. R is the hypothesis.
What?
Yeah, R is not a hypothesis. I thought there was more to come. But maybe the anti-flat earthers
Yeah.
would say such a thing. Potentially.
Maybe just why don't they just declare R to be a law, you know?
They pretty
It's
much do,
fundamental
are we?
to everything they do, so
Yeah, it is their unwritten law. The law of begging the question of R is an unwritten rule of the fundamentalist religious sphere belief, but they do it unwittingly, and it's a conscious decision on the part of the anti-flat earthers. Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon?
Atmosphere, you're going to need R for that.
that wasn't the question though. R, it's hard to drop the habit, isn't it?
It's a sphere-shaped gas. Is not R necessary for that?
Yeah, but he didn't say that though.
Yeah, I'm asking for demonstration of gas pressure without a container. Your assumption thereafter of atmosphere will require an R value, but that's not what I'm asking for, unfortunately. That's why I did say it gets harder from here to just assert the R value. Might even take these R zombies off.
I said that the other
Yeah.
day, and I got yelled at.
Yeah,
No
but
problem.
at the end of the day, no matter when they start, they're going to have to bring R.
Oh, I like that. Explain how is it presumably like registered trademark? It comes out looking funky. Let's show you that. He's got his R value. Can you see that? Yes, there it is on screen. Epic. Let's ask that. Any evidence of the R value? That would be Earth radius.
R.
You're going to need a sphere for that.
It's there because it has to be. Why else would we be, as ballers, be chanting R all the time, metaphorically?
You're asking me why else would people be chanting that there is an R value, even though anti-flat earthers make a willing choice to employ the R value in spite of knowing that it's been debunked, and globe earthers employ the R value without realising they're begging the question at all. Why would they do that? Unless there was an R value, that was your question, right?
That's right.
There is an R value, it just only exists in the maths. It doesn't give you a derivative sphere, edge, horizon. So there is an R value, it just isn't part of our reality, and it's claimed to be derived from a physical sphere, edge, horizon to give you dip angles and tangent points and geometry. But again, that's not part of our reality because the horizon isn't a physical location to measure dip angles and get tangent points.
But without R, reality would only be reality.
Okay, very funny.
Wow. Wow.
What about somebody who claims to have calculated the R value from the quote-unquote circumference of the equator.
What's the equator? Actually, I'm not going to do this.
That's where you'll get them.
Just one sec. Just because typically I'm on the side of defending how you would derive this, right? Arwin is typically postulating this, so I'm going to offer up the opportunity for Arwin to actually play the positive flat Earth position, just for a change in this regard, if he's willing. Well, hold on. Let me just fill Arwin in. Somebody's just claimed you get the R value from the... Go ahead, Rams.
Some will claim that you can calculate it from assuming the equator to be the circumference of the sphere.
Well, yeah, that works. By assuming it.
Oh, for bloody hell's sake. Do you mean that works? I was hoping you would challenge him on it as opposed to support him.
Well, I'm not gonna tell him he can't do that, right? I'll just leave it open for suggestion now. It's like the equator line. It's a nice convention based on celestial derivatives. And yeah, I'm not gonna tell you that can only happen on a sphere, but you might come to that conclusion by yourself.
Even though you gave all the disclaimers that would debunk it in your first breath. Thank you, Arwin. Very sneaky, very clever. I love it.
You're welcome.
So, that convention, that construct, that arbitrary point that doesn't really exist derived from the celestial movements, as Arwin has just described, that's not a physical location to measure anything with. It's a construct derived from the movement of lights in the sky. That's what your equator is. Rams? I know you're playing devil's advocate, but
Yeah.
you got any more?
Yeah, no, you're right.
Oh, come on, don't be that much of a pushover. Can't you tell me I don't understand or something?
Nuh-uh.
It genuinely does look like that's all we're getting. Fair enough. Well, that concludes the housekeeping.
Woo. R.
Well, there's one more that Arwen forgot. When you take gravity and minus the R, Arwen, what do we have?
Gravity.
It was just as
There's
terrible when...
R in a lot of words, guys. A lot of words.
If that was to figure out if taking a terrible joke and telling it in your tongue, 10th, would make it more funny, it didn't.
No, I'm just in the absence of any ballers and anti-flat earthers. If anyone's been a fan of the show, they've disappeared. So we're left to bad jokes and filling up space because they're gone. The R killed them. Black Swan destroyed them. From January 2020 to now, you can see how they've fallen off. I was going to say the edge, but they've fallen off all their arguments.
Well, they have fallen off their edge because they were sat on their statement of fact that the horizon was a sphere edge for boats to fall over, and they've now fallen off that claim because they don't have a derivative R value to make the claim.
Yeah, it's a devastating argument because there's no workaround. It's either there or it's not. And if it's not, welcome to Flat Earth.
Doesn't change that they're out there still making it. It's just it's much easier to go out there and make it without any challenge from us, as opposed to come in and actually challenge us. Because when they come here, we won't allow them to just run their do-si-do circle jerk, assert the R, assert how many feet and inches or meters are missing from this building. That's their usual. It's like, been there, done that, got the t-shirt, debunked it. Now what you got?
Well, it's like boxing. You know, you want to be the champion, you got to fight the champion. Well, but they go and do all these undercard bouts and, you know, I'm 10-0. Yeah, but you're not the world champion. Yeah, but I'm 10-0. Yeah, but who'd you fight? You got to fight the champion. Yeah, but I'm still 10-0. So they go and they're 10-0 because they're not here fighting the champion of the argument, the Black Swan. You got to come here and beat it, not among your friends or shows that don't hold your feet to the fire.
That's a very good point. Ask yourself this, audience, if you're watching an argument that takes place and claims there's a sphere proof to be had, has it actually taken into account the black swan? Because if it hasn't, it's not a valid claim. I.e., if it's a derivative of a begging the question proof of nothing perspective hijacking earth curve calculator with drop or dip measurements, or hidden values, then that needs an R value, and you've got to get a measurement of it, and we've debunked it. So that entire claim, when someone says, why are so many feet and inches missing? Or why are so many meters? Yeah, no. You need R to ask me that question. And you haven't got it anymore, so what are you going to do? Tell me that the reason so many feet and inches are missing is because the curve calculator with its R value assumption that's been debunked said so? No. That's why you don't get them coming in here. They can still make that crappy little claim with us not around.
Did you see Flatsoy's latest video?
Quite possibly. What's it about?
Ranty proving that the black swan is debunked. He debunked the black swan. Did you know?
Sorry.
Ranty did?
I didn't see the Ranty video. I did see his thumbnail. He claimed he'd debunked the black swan in an hour-long video.
Right. Well, Flatsoid made a little response to that. It's lovely.
Okay, I'll have to check it out.
But yeah, Ranty thinks that the horizon can be refracted with terrestrial refraction, and that would still prove basically that the Earth is a sphere.
Oh,
So-
right. That was his
Yeah.
argument. Ah, beautiful. Say it with me, ladies and gentlemen. You're gonna need an R for that, Ranty.
It's tough for him because R is the first letter in his name, you know, so R is very close to his heart.
Terrestrial refraction is bending light through the atmosphere. Sphere-shaped air. At a rate of R. So you're gonna need R for that. Well, that saved me an hour. How quickly he's out there assuming terrestrial refraction when Katz's bum buddy ran away from R so recently. It's the same R that I asked Katz for, Ranty. Have you got it? Of course you haven't. We've debunked it. But you think that you're overcoming it with the same old dusty crap that we've had for the last 18 months that needs R? Oh dear. You're going to need R for your refraction, because terrestrial refraction's moving through sphere-shaped air at a rate of R, Ranty. Didn't you know? Maybe you should have paid a bit more attention when you're a flat earther.
Yeah, and that doesn't make sense on its face to say, because terrestrial refraction was always used to loom things with respect to the horizon prior to the black swan. And that's how I understood it, because it had the R value in it.
Yes, that's correct. To quote Rumpus, you know it's refracted because of its position with respect to the horizon. Of course, that didn't stop him coming here and lying about that very statement, did it? That's why he's not welcome anymore, because he's a lying scumbag. That would be Rumpus, who made it explicitly clear how refraction works with respect to the horizon. Only to later claim that the horizon was also refracted with an R-based refraction that you need R in the first place to use it to paradoxically move the horizon to a non-geometric position. You're all idiots.
So the horizon is refracting over a refracted horizon. Nice. Good stuff.
Yeah, don't get
Good
much
morning,
better than
guys.
that. Paradox. Sorry, Chocolate.
Yeah, it's beautiful. They think that they can determine the geometry by measuring something using optics when it is actually already being displaced by the assumed value, well, that you assume it is half the thing you're looking at, right? So they basically pre-assume it. You can't get more presuppositional than this. To assume what you're looking at is a sphere and then to adapt what you actually see to that assumption. That is terrestrial refraction, and it is a paradox.
Right. Can't move the horizon with an R-based refraction if the R-based refraction is based on a tangent point horizon. So to do the Earth geometry, the Earth sphere geometry, it's based on having a tangent to that horizon. That's how the geometry is performed. So as soon as you move the horizon or refract the horizon, regardless of the fact that Ranty's refracting it with R, you then can't have your tangent point because it's moved and been refracted, debunking the geometry from within. In other words, Ranty's current claim of terrestrial refraction moving the horizon was the very thing that was laid as a bear trap by Quantum Eraser when he intentionally used bendy cranes in the picture, rather than the crystal clear ones that he had plenty of options to use. Well, that's so that you can say refraction, because the moment you say it, you debunk the geometry. If the horizon's refracted, it's not geometric, Ranty. Idiot.
Seems like he didn't get that all this time that he spent over here.
He was bracing against it the whole time because he wanted to transition across to globe. So he was like, I don't like the black swan. Really? Well, not liking it meant you didn't pay enough attention, did you, Ranty? Because if the horizon's refracted, it's not geometric? You complete bonehead?
If you're a flat earther and you don't like the black swan, and you've heard the responses that the globe side and the anti-flat earth side have given to the black swan, and you still don't like it, then you just don't get it. It's pretty apparent.
Yeah, pretty apparent he didn't get it. Or he wouldn't be saying, oh, well, terrestrial refraction can move it. Oh, yeah, that's refraction based on an atmosphere for light to bend through at a rate of R. Oh, where'd you get your R value? Run, little kitten. Run fast. Maybe you could ask Cats, Ranty. Sniff Cat's ass and ask him where he got R. Yeah? Same question I asked him. See what he tells you. So check out Flatzoid video, as that was the inspiration for that little conversation. As apparently he's done a nice little response to it. Not that I've seen it myself, but anybody else here seen it?
Yeah, I'll post it in the YouTube chat.
So subscribe today. Also, it's worth plugging in because he's growing as a YouTuber, is Flatzoid. His editing skills are improving, as is his audio quality and the subject quality. It's all going uphill at a fairly exponential rate. So it's good stuff. Subscribe today to Flatzoid. He's gained a fair few subscribers as a result as well. It does show that if you put in the effort, you will grow.
What was the response when Mitchell from Australia debated that guy? The best you've done.
Arwin.
Huh? What?
We can hear you clickety-clacking.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know I was still unmuted. Sorry.
That's okay.
10th man. At best, what you've done here is debunk the radius.
Yes. Always on cue, chocolate.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, that was his opening statement out of the gate for him. So that was a shit career. Your first statement that we even are aware of is, at best, what you've done is debunk the radius.
Now, what I like better than that is the other guy that said, yeah, Nathan Oakley says we assume a sphere. That's correct. Beautiful.
Just Phil?
Yes.
Yeah, him.
Yeah.
We already know it's a
Of course
sphere.
we presuppose a sphere. That's how we come up with a model. Don't you know? Hey, what's wrong with these people? Are y'all serious?
The best one was the Kuma virus.
A Gumu virus, you say? While I fill in time, while a child is screaming, no doubt.
Yeah, he said, of course, there's an R value. Why else would you be asking me about it?
Well, Arwin did that earlier. He's like, well, it must exist if people are talking about it, and it exists even, he didn't say this, but even as a reification. That means it exists in name only. You know, it's like, yeah, of course. In the same way time dilation in Narnia really does exist. You can't challenge me on it. You can't say, no, time dilation does not happen in Narnia. But like, yeah, it does. You go through the wardrobe and you grow up, but if you came back, you'd still be a kid. Well, you know, that's not going to be disputable. The problem is we don't live in Narnia, do we?
I thought that might have been the best Globe-Tard comeback of all time.
We wouldn't be talking about it otherwise, so it must exist. Yeah, well, by that standard, I just need to talk about unicorns.
And that's somebody that considers himself smart. Did he follow that up with, you see how I'm attacking your argument, right? What the hell?
Nathan, did I just hear you say we need to get someone to come out of the closet to prove time dilation?
No, I wasn't bashing any homosexuals out there. Far from it. I was saying that the wardrobe, not closet, is what you have to go through in order to experience the time dilation in Narnia. Which is true and real, and you cannot dispute that. I mean, I will stand here, hand on heart, and say nobody can challenge me on that fact about Narnia. We don't live there, and it doesn't affect us at all. It's inconsequential to our everyday life. Likewise, pseudo-Ramonian force-space-time, the bending thereof known as gravity, is inconsequential to your life. Like going through the wardrobe's inconsequential, it's not somewhere that exists. A description only. Likewise, our value. Yeah, there's an Earth sphere radius value, absolutely. It just is inconsequential to your actual existence. It's not actual in terms of you looking out the horizon and being able to measure the physical sphere edge that you're looking at. It isn't. That's not what the horizon is.
Well, apparently it's no longer a physical sphere edge for boats and buildings to be blocked out by. As told to us by the same people who believe that it's a physical sphere edge for boats and buildings to be blocked out by. Funny that.
Somebody wants to join. Is anybody willing to give up their place in the live stream chat? As I think somebody else is trying to get onto the live stream chat. Hopefully someone will drop into the after show so we can open up a space. Apparently somebody's got proof of the globe.
Open up the space. Space is opened up. Don't you know? Branson and them, they've gone there.
No, not that space.
And see the curvature.
Thank you, Neil. Hold on one sec. There's a gap now. So there's 12 people in, there's 13 spaces, so there's a gap if somebody wants to join. Hopefully they'll open up their mic pretty quick. I don't see anybody joining. Well, we'll see.
Proof of the globe, you say?
Who's Cat sending in now?
It's not Cats, it's the boss. Death sending somebody our way. I assume it's the real Death.
Hey guys, if Nathan's going to beat somebody up, even if you smell blood in the water, don't attack. Just let Nathan kill him.
Yes, we know, but sometimes it's hard.
What if we want a leg?
Is that you, Globe Believer J Mez?
Oh no, I'm a flat earther.
Oh, it's still one gap. Okay.
Oh, I just thought something funny. I'm sure the last guy is a flat earther, but can you imagine if someone wanted to come on as a globe believer and the last minute got scared and he said, "Are you a globe?" "No, I'm a flat earther." It's showtime. Oh, okay, I'm a flat earther when it's showtime, but in chat, I'm a glober.
Well, this is not joining. I mean, we might as well go through the motions of sort of the new regime in terms of how friendly we'll be with these people. And that is establish immediately whether or not they're a anti-flat earther or actual normal globe-believing person out in the real world. Because there's a distinct difference between the two, right?
Absolutely.
I was thinking yesterday, like, maybe, I don't know, we've already been kind of used to calling them anti-flat earthers, but aren't they really like anti-globers?
Well, that's why I said Yes, I had this out with Adam, and Adam was saying the same thing and wanted to rebrand it anti-glober. I'm like, well, number one, that makes no sense to a non-looker. But this anti-flat earther kind of spells out what they are. They're against flat earth. But the reason you've got flat earth in their name is because, yes, many of their arguments align with our arguments, hence there's flat earther in their name.
Okay. I get that.
Yeah, the whole point is to get Neil deGrasse Tyson to debate cats, or Neil deGrasse Tyson to debate who's the guy that we're trying to last week? Nathan.
Who's holding an anti?
Hillbilly Blue Balls.
Hillbilly Blue Balls. Simon Dan.
Yeah.
Whoever. Pick your anti-flat earther.
Yeah, perfect. So we want to put the globe argument against these people. they're both globers, but they have opposite views. I wonder why.
Because one of them slipped down the slope of anti-flat Earth and wants to scramble back up to the top, but realises that there's an overcome for the argument that normies who have no real consideration for it think is the case. That would be Earth turning underneath stuff.
Yeah, but I wonder why somebody on that side would actually take on Neil deGrasse Tyson, NDT for short, and say, hey, listen, we have Earth-based Coriolis, but we can never prove it. And why'd you have to go say that football, because of Earth turning underneath, went through the goalpost? Why'd you have to do that, huh?
Because that's the globe Earth rhetoric. Because that's the actual claim. The globe claims we have 15 degrees in our drift as Earth turns underneath stuff not attached. That would be moving through the inertial reference frame with us attached to a non-inertial spinning reference frame, watching things appear to move off course from our perspective because we're turning beneath them. That's what the globe actually claims. Now, obviously, if you're turning beneath an aeroplane and from the aeroplane you're looking down and the Earth slowly turning beneath you, as is claimed by the globe, then the flight time would be shortened when travelling west. Ergo, if the Earth was turning beneath a flight from Charlotte to North Carolina to Los Angeles, then the flight would take about an hour and a half because Earth would be turning beneath it. Now, that does not happen. Earth is not turning beneath anything we'd notice if it was. Now, when we point that out, the anti-flat earther steps in and goes, no, Earth's not turning underneath. Completely contrasting the actual globe claim that it does. We wouldn't see any drift under a hot air balloon. Really? Well, there's supposed to be 15 degrees of it, says the globe. So they're contrasting the actual globe claim, hence their name, anti-flat earther. Flat earther's still in their name because they're basically making the same claim as us. No drift to see, you say? So do we.
I have something on that. Because with them, whether you're saying, you know, we see deviation as the Earth turns underneath or everything turns together, you're still assuming it's all turning, that there's a turning happening. That's the importance of the Coriolis argument for them. They just want to beg the question that there is an axis for Earth.
And that would be measured in radians, would it not?
Oh yeah, you damn right it would be.
What are you going to need for that, John?
You'll need an R value for that.
Oh, so to start off making a claim that Earth's spinning at a particular rate, you're going to need an R value. I see. You hear that, Fundies? That's stony silence from your own side. When it's R value related. Yeah, that's not going to go away.
I was going to say, we have a great example, though, of one of these anti-flat Earth clowns who, you know, go against their globe religion, as George Mooster sat down with Fight the Tight Shirt. Right? Because how many times did he tell us that gravity is a force before that discussion that they had? And as the priest, Georgie fucking Mooser, basically told Craig it's literally not a force. He had to just agree. Oh yeah, it's not a force, yeah. So, like, put up against their priests, they don't go against the rhetoric.
Hey, Chocolate, Fight the Tight Shirt, you're going to need R for that.
Okay, but yes, that's correct, Chocolate, and for that reason, I have noticed personally that they are in a separate category. They're not in the same group as the people who talk about how wonderful Earth looks from a moonrise picture or whatever it's called, Earthrise. You know, that's a section of society that they'll never get back to. They will always be a subjugated, if that's the right word, section of society that has been put into a group. Not just part of the rest of the globe believing normies anymore. Anti-flat earther.
Yeah, It's kind of incredible, right? And then to think that afterwards, I don't know, almost a year afterwards, he came here and told us that, you know, gravity is a force, colloquially, but it's created by what we call the force of gravity. So yeah, that's a head fuck if I've ever heard one. Force of gravity creates the force of gravity. Thanks, Craig.
Yeah, we got a lot of nonsense from him. I think the thing I held him to task on was tangent planes that he was assuming. And it all descended into chaos at the point that I asked him where he got the tangent from. Yeah, you're going to need R for that. I was about to say there's a lot of things you need R for, but I'm going to change that to you need R for everything sphere related.
Yeah, any positive claim you're going to make on the that deals with the globe will require R to make it.
Yeah, spot on. Every single claim to be proof of a sphere will start with an assumption of the R value.
Well, that'd be horrible for him if it was debunked, wouldn't it?
It is debunked. Black Swan.
Yeah, that must be horrible for him then.
It must be.
That's why it only exists in the maths, because it doesn't exist in reality.
So when's this going to get dealt with, I ask myself? When are they actually going to start taking their head out of the sand and saying, okay, here's how we now acquire the R value? Because other than Arwin playing devil's advocate and saying they get it from a presupposed circumference on an outside edge of a presupposed sphere that they're deriving lights in the sky to give them an arbitrary position on the ground. That's the best we've had, literally, and that's come from Arwin for the most part.
Well, they're never going to get it because, as John has said in the past, once they get it, they're no longer globers or anti-flat earthers. They become, like you said, welcome to flat Earth, if they get it. Now, these are the same people who first have to figure out a straight line isn't curved. Now, if you can't even get that, how are you going to get the R argument?
Imagine the pain, the cognitive pain someone must go through to ask you why you would expect to see something that they've asserted themselves that is actually physical and seen and capable of blocking boats and buildings. Imagine the pain you have to go through for that.
Yeah, and then the pain that you'd have to go through to rearrange that into, why would you, and that's me as a globe earther talking to a flat earther, why would you, Mr. Flat Earther, think we've got a sphere edge horizon? Nobody's ever claimed that. You're like, how much pain have you got to go through to process it into that? Hey, Adam.
Afternoon.
Good to have you.
Not bad.
All good. Sobered up since Saturday night.
It was all good.
I hope so.
Apart from when you attacked a fellow flatty just for asking a reasonable question. It was very amusing.
Well, it felt like it wasn't. If you know when you misinterpret what someone's saying in there, it felt like it was a baller thing. And then, yes.
All he said was, have you got any more citations? You're like, more? You have more? You don't even need one.
Well, you did. Well, that bit I was frustrated at him. Yeah, because genuinely, he's getting mugged off. Yeah? The ballers go, more citations, and off you go. Instead of dealing with why they need more, if you see what I mean. That was...
Nah, you were already mad because Point 3 owed you money.
Damn right, it owes me.
So you were already tight by that. So I even heard. I was like, wow, Adam is like going at him right now. Like, okay, it's okay.
There's nothing wrong with
getting
it.
Savaged by a dead sheep, though, by me. It's not.
Got to rename that show to the Adam Meakin Show.
It was reasonable to take that standpoint with him, and although the tone might not have been necessarily correct, I've made that mistake plenty of times, so I'm not going to give you grief over that. But I completely agree with you. It's like, I even said it on the show, I don't even give citations, ever! Why? Well, because I haven't got a desk in front of me. I haven't got a keyboard in front of me. I've got my little box, my Stream Deck box. That's what I've got. So am I in a position right now to go and Google search something? No, definitely not. Well, do I? No. I mean, that's why I'm like, can one of you post it in Ballbusters? Why? Well, because then I can just point at it, click at it, and it'll come up on the screen. I don't have to type anything. I don't have to do anything. It's just, that's how it is. But that methodology came the moment I heard QE say, well, you don't actually need to cite anything ever. I was like, you don't? No, it's just support of your argument. So I'm like, okay. So it's just the argument that really matters. Take it or leave it, right? You don't like my argument. No, I'm not going to give you any citations. Who's your citation? Me. This is my argument. Take it or leave it.
But why would you need a citation for the scientific method? That's what I don't understand. This is the method. This is what it is. That's it.
That was kind of my point. Is that
because the reason why.
Oh, he's here. Hold on, Adam. Go ahead, Max. It was you that was.
Just finish they want more citations because anyone can make the scientific method. You can have 4 methods. You can have 6 criteria. So they just wanted more and more and more. So I just wanted to give them some.
There's one scientific method. I'm sorry.
Okay, hold on. Adam,
even if there was 2 or 3.
Everyone, hold on. Let me just get some order. Hold on. Hello. I don't want it to send it to chaos. Just let Adam respond. Then we'll go back to you. I promise. Max.
So, even if there was 2 or 3, I think I'm kind of agreeing with you, Nathan. The point there is if we've got a statement of what we understand the method to be. If they want to argue with it, the way that I'm not responding is for them to come to me and go and find some alternatives, and let's you then discuss with yourself. Basically, they want to bring an alternative citation of the method. We'll happily go through it like we did on Saturday and point out point 3 and how nonsensical it is in terms of understanding of the scientific method. So I'd put it back at their door, dude. Is the thing I'd reiterate again, because otherwise they're just mugging you off, sending you on fool's errands.
He's already said it. He said, like, even if you give it to them, what are they going to say? Science doesn't prove things afterwards, right? So they're like I said, told him on Saturday, they're just spinning his wheels, asking for citations for the scientific method. Come on. You guys, you're the very same people that were asserting science 4 or 5 years ago, right? Now
that was Tim Panda wanted me to go off and find more citations to back up what I was saying about the scientific metheth.
Yeah, Tim Panda will ask you for citations all day and never pay any mind to them.
No, but when you do chocolate, then you got a guy like freaking M. Scott Veach saying that that's just the basic science. We've advanced. Okay, that's what you get with that.
Excuse me, I have a question about this. How do you create a binary of if A, then B, if A, not B, in any other way than the scientific method? Because that's the only way it can be empirical.
That's spot on.
Right?
Do you understand what John just asked? You have 2 mutually exclusive positions in the hypothesis. One is called the alternative, the other is called the null. The alternative is if A, then B, i.e. A is your assumed cause, B is the effect you are studying, and you have assumed correctly the cause of the effect. Ergo, when you vary that when you vary that cause, it causes the effect. That's if A, then B. A supposition of a causal relationship. That's called an alternative. You also have a null. The antithesis of that prediction. So rather than if A then B, your null is if A not B. So I vary A, B does not happen. Now those 2 things cannot occur simultaneously. It violates the law of non-contradiction. You can't have A both cause B and not cause B at the same time. They're both mutually exclusive positions. Now, what John is pointing out is that is what offers the empiricism in the method. At the end of experiment, that's actualization of the hypothesis being if A then B or if A not B. You just vary A and see which one's true. True being proven. So upon experimentation, either A or B will be proven. Either A will cause B, or A will not cause B when you vary it. So, that's the empiricism on offer from science. So when you're told by someone like M. Scott Veitch, that's just the basic science. Basic? Alright, so you think there's something better than empiricism? Knowing? Proving? I don't think so. Actually, that makes the method quite limited. Well, that limitation offers empiricism. It doesn't mean that you can expand it out into vague correlations and just so stories and say that it's been advanced, because it hasn't. You can't get better than empiricism, and upon experimentation, you will prove your hypothesis to be true or false. That would be, it causes it or it does not cause it. One or other will be proven true. Empirical. Thank you, John. Excellent point.
Some guy left brain.
We're talking about another clown that thinks you can do science on a sneaker. So
he's put many variations within the above. So I've listed the 7 steps to the scientific method. And he's also said that's not what they are saying. They are saying we can't show anything is real. What does that mean?
We can't show anything is real? What?
That means he doesn't understand the method, doesn't it? But by that declaration, it shows Nathan's just gone through the method. So that even if you experiment, you don't. Disappointingly, it didn't work. You know, I didn't prove my hypothesis. In doing so, because of the empirical way you set up the experiment, it proves you're null. So you do prove things. Yeah, it might not be the thing you want to prove, but the experiment, if set up properly, will prove something.
We know why they say that. They have to say that. We covered it in the earlier show.
True. Just for Max's benefit, you don't have to assume that we're attacking you. I know Adam had a couple when he was doing it on the show and misinterpreted what was happening. But
I know.
You just find yourself in a position of devil's advocacy. In other words, you're going to have to represent your opponent's position to us. And when we challenge it, it seems like we're challenging you. We're not. Just so you know.
Nah, all I'm asking is, can you send me more citations? That's it.
Fair enough.
And all we're saying is you don't need to listen. I'm going to tell you something about Gem Panda. Stay away from there. That's a poisonous well and a dead-end street. Tell them to demonstrate or show you some sort of curvature. If not, next.
May I finish?
You can.
All right. We've heard this for years now. They have to go there because it's not their reality. So when the empirical method shows their model is not reality, and they don't want to do the right thing at this moment and say, oh my gosh, we don't have R, they have to go to the next step of lying to themselves to say science doesn't prove things. This is normal for someone who doesn't want to deal with the facts. All they have on the globe side is a model. We test the model, it doesn't match reality. Then they say science doesn't prove things.
Well, hold on a sec. When they say science doesn't prove things, it's just because they're science deniers. That's why they're saying it. You would have to deny something proven to deny.
That is literally the definition of science, denial. Science does not prove things is literally science denial.
Right, that's what I'm saying. They're science deniers when they say that it doesn't prove things.
Yeah. All science does is prove things. Either you prove your null or your alternative when you actualise a hypothesis. What's actualisation of a hypothesis, you ask? It's called an experiment. It's where you vary your presumed cause and see if it affects what you are trying to induce. That's the observed phenomena that you observed at step 1. That's what an experiment is. That's the actualisation of your hypothesis, and upon doing so, you will prove something. It's all it does, because you can't have if A, then B, and if A not B simultaneously occurring at once. Only one will be true at the end of the process, ergo you prove something. That's what it does. So to say science doesn't prove things, you're denying the essence of what science does. It's designed to elucidate the cause of an effect.
This is a most recent comeback from them, because for hundreds, if not longer, years, they've used science, hijacked it for their globe model. When we challenge the model with true science, then they say, well, we can't, now we got to turn against the word science because our model doesn't fan out in reality. But we got to keep our model. That's why they're doing it.
Can we hear one of my favorite globe clowns say it himself, Nathan and Master B?
I'll have a look. Sorry, I'm not on the ball.
Happens to be a guy who's got all types of science on his channel. For years and years, he's had all these videos talking about
it is a
science.
three-dimensional spheroid. However, I don't know that, and it has not been proven. Science doesn't prove anything.
Mr. Weak Sauce. Science doesn't prove anything, Mr. Weak Sauce, with all the videos on your channel about how science works on your globe. But all of a sudden, science doesn't prove things. This is one of the globe priests, the clown, who's telling people that science doesn't prove things. So what is he talking about? Why does he have all this quote-unquote science on his channel? This is the okie doke, man. This is the banana in the tailpipe. And now they're turning tail because they've realized their pseudoscience doesn't prove anything. This is why these clowns will tell us this crap. Because for years and years, science proves the globe, science proves our body of science. Shout out to Rumpus, shout out Retracted, clown. What the hell's wrong with you people?
Yes, that's correct. It's the okie doke or whatever you called it. Step 1, train children at a very early age that science does prove things. Teach them how it's an empirical method. Explain it. At some level, get them to understand that when the word of science is employed, it actually does prove things. Further to that, have in the same classroom, under the same heading, and often in the same textbook, descriptions of what is, by definition, pseudoscience, used alongside the empirical method that they've just been taught. From then on in, use the magical words of science, experiment, phenomena, theory, and imply your just so story and explanation for a phenomena that you haven't validated is actually the proof that is required, and hint at empiricism when you don't actually have any. Further to that, when your claim to be science is shown to be wrong, you declare that science doesn't prove things because you hadn't got any in the first place. So Vsauce, and what's all the science he's talking about, well, none of it was science at all. Very little that is claimed to be science is science. Even the published documents that have gone through peer review, 99.9% of them are not science. But they're probably headed science, and science is the department that they'll have been put through. Doesn't mean that they are, doesn't mean that they've gone through the method. Look up the definition of pseudoscience. A claim of science that has not been through the scientific method. Well, if their claim hasn't been through the scientific method, it by definition is pseudoscience. But they're going to tell you it's science, and when it's proven wrong, tell you science doesn't prove things? No, Vsauce is a science denier. Plain and simple. Science doesn't prove things, that's all it does. Proves the cause of your effect, or proves that you didn't get it right. You varied your presumed cause and it didn't cause the effect. You proved it wasn't that. Or you proved it was. You're going to prove something at the end of that process, though, Vsauce. You're a science denier.
Well, a lot of times it's...
Sorry. I was just going to say, he started off the statement with, it's, talking about his globe Earth. It's a three-dimensional spheroid. And then immediately chases that with, but I don't know that. Oh, you don't know that. How many videos does he have on his channel where he's telling you how what he doesn't know actually is reality? And now all of a sudden, he doesn't know that. But he said this on an interview with some other guy. I wonder if he ever went back to his channel and made a nice video like, hey, guys, all these videos I had prior to today? I don't know any of this because science doesn't prove anything. So maybe disregard all the videos that I've had for years and years teaching people how this is nonsense. And this nonsense is reality.
Well, that is the concept.
Yeah, but chocolate, not for nothing.
Hold on,
Years ago, that's what my son said. Science doesn't... I remember this before Flat Earth. my son telling me that science doesn't prove things; it really just disproves. So that's the logic they have.
Sure. The question I find more interesting, Chocolate, is why would he disclaim that? So obviously, if he's putting out video after video after video about how Earth is a sphere and how things are demonstrably the case in his begging the question assumption of a sphere in the first instance in every claim. Beyond that, you go, well, obviously he thinks he's on a sphere then. So when push comes to shove and he's being questioned on it, why wouldn't he just say, yeah, of course it's a sphere? Why would he disclaim, well, I don't actually know that? Why not? Well, because there's nothing empirical. Science doesn't prove things. Why would you make that disclaimer? It's like, do you appreciate that what you've been claiming as science, that would be empirically validated cause and effect relationships, isn't proving things? Do you know? And it might come to a head in your lifetime, perhaps? So when push comes to shove and you've been asked if you know whether or not that's the case, better off covering your ass and saying you don't actually know, but blaming science? Very interesting disclaimer, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's an out.
Yeah. When I heard this statement, I was just like, wait, hold up. Are you serious, Mr. Weak Sauce? How the hell did you just say that? How did you fix your face to just say that when all your whole channel is about how science and all this nonsense works on a globe? Well, now here in an interview, you're just going to say, oh, I don't know that.
So they've,
what?
So Chocolate, they've brought down the scientific method so it can only disprove things. So the scientific method in their world now affirms the null only, never the alternative.
If you're disproving something, aren't you proving something else?
Exactly, Chocolate. Precisely. Anyway, I'm going to shout out James Richards, who said globies are actually what they project flat earthers to be. I couldn't agree more. So where they call us cult members, that's precisely what they are. They've found themselves rolling down the hill away from their cult, and they want to be in it. And so they project that straight onto us while they scramble to become part of their cult again. Absolutely correct. Thank you very much for the super chat, James Richard.
What I was going to say, though, is a lot of times they confuse philosophy, like a materialistic philosophy, with science, so that that's where their confusion stems from. They think that only things that are physical and natural can exist.
But my thing is, like, this is not somebody who should be confused. This is a guy who's got, I don't know how many subs, but plenty of subs, listening to him teach people about science and how that science works on a globe. So to me, it's incredible that somebody like this would go on some interview, some guy's interview, and just basically claim, yeah, it's a 3D spheroid, but I don't know that. That's not been proven because science doesn't prove things. Oh, okay. So you just negated everything that I've seen on your channel ever. Thanks.
With that, I'm going to say, if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's live show possible. And another massive thank you to all of you who smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, joined as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and all that good stuff. Once again, stay tuned if you're watching on a premiering stream. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video. Shout out to Drum Guy for smashing the super chat just after the live stream had ended.